So most of us are pulled to Dharma practice for various reasons, but often there's a kind of sense in oneself that the noise we have lived with is troublesome, that it's at perhaps the root of a lot of our discord and irritation. And we seek the meditation to offset that noise, that turbulence, and move into the meditation for that particular reason. And sure enough, the meditation meets us with the possibilities of a deeper sense of calm and quietude, a relaxing and releasing the tensions that we have lived with, kind of ongoing stress reduction that allows a renewal, an ongoing sense of renewal, and accompanied by less chatter and more vitality. Now, we can get very allured by this quieting effect, and much of the sort of the topographical, let us say, reasons that we react and are irritated, impatient, frustrated, and annoyed can be seen as the waters of the mind quiet themselves a little bit. We can get a good grasp of the grosser ways that we create disturbances for ourselves, that we inflict suffering in our life. And this path of quieting feels that it is very much in line with the Buddha's teaching of ending struggle. And in fact it is. It's the quieting of the mind. Once the mind quiets, becomes less discordant, there is less struggle, no question about it. And because of the alluring quality, in comparison to where we have come with the noisy mind from our more active worldly life, this sense of calm can be captured and possessed. And we get so that we relate to meditation only as this serenity, this quiet, this calm, this abiding quietness. But if we ever ask the question, what are the qualities of awareness? Certainly, quiet abiding, calm and peace is one of the accessible and recognizable aspects of awareness. However, under the surface of that quiet repose, often we will discover that there is more turbulence that cannot be seen just simply by reposing in quiet. That there are little eddies and swirls of movement, of further self-assumptions, of disquieting, subtler reactions, of an acknowledged sense of separation, and a fullness of the sense of egoic sense of me that doesn't seem to dispel merely because the mind becomes quiet. It gets softer, it gets more pliable, you might say. Instead of being a full embodied egoic arrogance, it's more like a film of self. But it doesn't seem to be, it seems to lace pretty much everything we do. Now this is when often the Dharma student will be become interested on the more subtle disturbances. The quieter element of serenity has taken care of a lot of the discord, the obvious forms of struggle, of the surface tension, of the emotional, the unconscious emotional arisings that occur. But there is still work to be done in the more subtle areas of consciousness that just abiding in calm most often can't access. And this is when there arises often within us a compelling need to know what's going on in the further depths of our being. And there arises a strong intention and a strong passion to find and discover. And then the tool of questioning comes in. The tool of questioning is motivated by a strong need to know the truth. What is going on here? What is happening? Why is it that the deeper aspects of the Buddha's teaching of non-separation and emptiness seem to be remote, even though I do seem to be quieting sufficiently so that the gross manifestations of suffering are being taken care of. And so with that renewed interest, this sense of diving deeper into the quiet waters, not trying to become noisy all of a sudden, because quiet didn't accomplish the entire journey, but rather to use that quiet to base our questions within. And to then you really move to where it is that we feel the struggle is continuing. And to wonder and allow our hearts to access that wonder and that question. What is going on here? What is happening here? What is this about? It's not a question of outrage. It's a question of curiosity, of wonder. It's a question that comes from wanting to know the truth. And wanting to know the truth is the motivation for the deeper dive. It's hard to speak about wanting to know the truth and place it in the right emotional context. It's not wanting to know the truth in some kind of aggressive way or in some kind of being accomplished or ambitious way. It's the movement of the heart's curiosity towards unfinished business. What's going on here? What is that noise about? What is the continuation of this struggle? Why is it occurring? And so questions will naturally form in our consciousness at some point where we can follow the avenue of that question right down to the substance of the experience. It's not an intellectual question. It's not a question of reflection in the normal sense of that word or an intellectual question at all. It's a question that takes us right to the heart of the residue of struggle. And it's one that, as I mentioned, does not disturb the calm that we've already matured ourselves into. So this sense of questioning can only unleash itself if we are not attached to the soothing qualities and abiding softness of the calm and serenity. We can easily get caught up in just sort of staying where we are because it's comfortable. And the need to remain where it's comfortable can dissuade the heart from asking these questions, from going where it really needs to go. Because why go anywhere when I'm getting really what I wanted in the first place, which was just the willingness and ability to be soothed. But to the heart, being soothed is not a complete answer. And so for us to look and see if a question naturally arises within us, whether there is the curiosity to discover and to see and to explore, and to unturn and overturn anything that seems to be running on an imaginative, intellectual response. And by that I mean anything in which the narrative of our story is motivating. And naturally, when we begin to understand that words don't hold the truth, where we see we are running through those words, we're going to be curious about those words and wonder whether why those words are so are capturing our attention the way they do.